First, it's no secret that Coventry-born Pete Waterman is a big fan of trains. So, as you'd expect, when he heard about plans to build a high-speed rail link between London and Birmingham, he was over the moon. But there are plenty of people who weren't. And tonight, some of them will try to change Pete's mind. High-speed rail couldn't be more controversial. For some, it's a costly and environmentally unfriendly waste of time. For others, it's a brilliant idea.
Throughout history, it's been big, bold moves that moves the country forward. Now, talking about big, bold moves, High-Speed 2 is probably the biggest thing in the last 100 years. Love it or hate it, it's a bold move. And I like bold moves.
High-speed rail's got Pete Waterman's seal of approval. But the idea of building a brand new line between London and Birmingham has run into a huge amount of opposition.
What makes me mad, and it does make me mad, is about when anybody proposes anything, everybody says it can't be done. Not in my backyard. Can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. When are we going to look at what's good for everybody and not just what's good for us?
But despite his frustration, Pete's agreed to meet some of the objectors to see if they can change his mind. Trains travelling at more than 200 miles an hour might well make Britain a quicker place to get around, but it's going to eat up a huge amount of countryside.
I can see it now. 2 trains passing at 250 miles an hour.
It's Pete's idea of heaven, but a lot of people are horrified by his vision. More than 40 protest groups have already sprung up along the line. Pete's come to find out why.
Hello, you must be Lizzie.
Hi, Peter.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Let's go this way and see what's going on down here. So here we are in England's pleasant green pastures, and we're about to change it.
We are. We're going to put a high-speed rail link right the way through the countryside.
In fact, through this valley.
Absolutely.
And why not?
Why not? Because do we really want to sacrifice our British identity and our countryside on something that may not be as environmentally friendly as we think?
So we would sacrifice the future of Britain for 138 miles.
I believe the countryside and the environment are the future of Britain. I think
Well,
that's far more
there's a lot
important.
of people looking for jobs that are not going to think about the countryside.
So you don't care about the countryside then?
Of course I cared about the countryside, but I don't care about enough that we can't lose 138 miles of it.
We don't believe the government have looked at all the alternatives that they could do that are more environmentally sustainable.
Stop looking at alternatives. Let's get building. You know, if you've got a spade with it, we'll dig the bloody first. Start now. Come on. Come on. Let's go and get our wellies on and we'll dig it for them. We'll have it out in a fortnight.
We need investment, we need construction, we need regeneration, but we need it in the right places. If we don't get that right, then we're gonna be living with that legacy.
There's clearly a lot of passion on both sides, but has Lizzie's love of the countryside put Pete off high-speed rail?
Well, there's an argument for you. It's all about the countryside, and I guess that's true. It is about the countryside, but it's got to go somewhere. So as the old boy said, why not here?
The new railway would plough through miles of countryside, but it'll hit towns and cities too. A lot of people on its route into Birmingham are going to be severely affected, and some are even going to lose their homes.
There are lots of views about HS2, but this is the reality. This house will be demolished. So I've come to talk to the people who live here, who once HS2 comes through, will have to live somewhere else. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello. I've come to evict you already. No, don't be joking.
The Willises have lived here for 25 years. It's where they raised a family and where they'd hoped to retire.
Right, so where's it going to go?
The railway comes literally straight through these houses here and cuts straight across the back of the garden.
And how did you find out?
Internet. Friend up the road said, wow, are you aware of this happening? And we've had nothing from them, from a government or HS2. No letters, no communications.
Nobody's spoken to you?
Not a sausage. It's bad manners, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yes.
you see, I don't understand. I can't quite understand why nobody's talked to anybody.
No, that's what upsets us most, is the fact that we find out because somebody up the road told us. So we're left trying to live our lives
I find that very strange.
Hideous.
Nothing's, I suppose nothing should shock me anymore, but that has shocked me, I've got to say. I don't know what to say.
But the possibility of losing their home is not the only reason the Willises object to high-speed rail.
OK, the railway's not coming through the house. Are you happy with it going somewhere else?
No?
OK, why?
Right. Police station, down the road. It's been closed. There's better things to spend the money on.
Now, hang on. That's the transport budget. That's the crime budget. You can't mix them up. Hospitals have got nothing to do with it. Libraries got nothing to do with it. This is transport.
Yes, but as a
So,
taxpayer...
no transport, no more
It
tax.
still comes out of our tax though, and we've had to pay. Our tax has been used to come up with this harebrained scheme, and now our tax has to be used to try and find it.
The Department for Transport said that the Willises hadn't been informed because the route hasn't been confirmed. But for Pete, that's just not good enough.
Thanks very much indeed.
Right.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Well, there's not a lot you can say, except I'm shocked that people haven't got the courtesy just to ring up and tell them what's happening. Because I think that's basically what their complaint is. And you know what? I feel sorry, really sorry for them.
Public consultations all along the route will give people like the Willises the opportunity to have their say. But it could be that the financial case for high-speed rail holds more weight. The new line would cost nearly £20 billion, but it's claimed in the long term it'll generate far more money than that. Not everyone's convinced.
One of the things that concerns me is, are enough people going to use it? I mean, the government says that at the moment around 40,000 people a day are using the line between London, Coventry and Birmingham, and they say that will more than double. Now, I just wonder where are all these people going to come from?
It's a guess, and
Right.
that's to me, this whole argument is irrelevant because it's a guess. Because
Right.
you can sit here and you can debate this against that, but at the end of the day, to me it's build it and let them come.
Right.
You don't build it, they will never know.
Do you really think that the Treasury is going to encourage low price travel on this new line, which has cost 18 billion pounds worth of public money?
But if we go back to the Channel Tunnel, we didn't think that would happen there. And you've got cheap fares on the Channel Tunnel.
Well, they obviously disagree. But have Christian's ideas influenced Pete?
So Christian's real worry is that not enough people will travel and it'll be too expensive. Well, my belief is you don't know. Nobody knows how many people are going to travel, and my experience tells me it's always more than you think. The worry about the fare I can understand, but I don't believe any government's brave enough to build something and then have it so expensive we can't travel on it. So I don't have them concerns.
The arguments both for and against high-speed rail are pretty complicated, and there's a great deal more to them than Pete's been able to discover in a single day. But have the strong views of the people he's met made any difference to his opinions?
Okay, so, well, there are winners and there are losers, really, and I do feel sorry for some people, but we've got to look at what's good for Britain. And in the long run, we've always known that railways, when you speed up things, change things, and we need a change. The sad thing is, I won't be even around to see it, but, well, I think in the end, High Speed 2 is good for the nation. It's a bold move, and I like bold moves.